Reece's search for Trinity hits dead ends. A cruel game by an unseen enemy. Where is she? Is she alive? Who's behind this? Meanwhile, Trinity's thoughts turn to the ancient feud between wolves and warlocks, a conflict ignited by betrayal and dark magic. The First Blood feud devastated both sides, culminating in the creation of the Veilstone, a weapon that could strip wolves of their power. Alpha Kieran's desperate blood pact shattered the Veilstone, turning the tide but costing him his life. A fragile truce followed, but the scars remained. Now, Trinity, once insignificant, is at the center of this ancient conflict. Why? Is she a pawn? What other secrets lie hidden? What role does Reece play? Will he find Trinity? What happens if the truce breaks? The Warlocks were not always the fragmented, secretive society they are today. Once they had a king, a ruler whose power rivaled the mightiest alpha wolves and whose betrayal would ignite the second chapter of the Warlock-Wolf feud. His name was Caelus, and his reign was one of both brilliance and darkness. Caelus ascended to power during a time of tentative peace. The First Blood feud had scarred the supernatural world, but an uneasy truce had been struck. The wolves retreated to their forests and mountains, while the warlocks built their enclaves, hidden from prying eyes. For decades, they avoided direct conflict, though mistrust simmered beneath the surface. But Caelus was not content with peace. Caelus was a visionary, a leader who believed the warlocks were destined for greatness. He saw their magic as a divine gift, meant to dominate rather than coexist. To him, the wolves were an obstacle, brutish creatures who relied on raw strength instead of intellect. He viewed the truce as an insult, a chain that bound the warlocks to a lesser existence. In secret, Caelus began to gather followers who shared his vision. He promised them a new era, one where the warlocks would rise to their rightful place as rulers of the supernatural world. But to achieve this, he needed more power. The Veilstone was destroyed, but fragments of it still existed, scattered across the land. Caelus believed he could reforge the Veilstone, making it even stronger than before. But to do so, he needed something far more potent than simple arcane energy. He needed the lifeblood of an alpha wolf. For years, Caelus studied the ancient texts, searching for a way to break the wolves' formidable defenses. He developed a forbidden spell, known as the Binding Curse, which would tether a wolf's soul to his will, rendering them powerless. To test his magic, Caelus turned his gaze to the Red Springs pack. It began with disappearances. Wolves vanished without a trace, leaving no scent trails, no evidence of struggle. At first, the pack thought it was the work of rogue wolves, or even hunters. But when the bodies started to reappear, drained of life, their blood crystallized into strange black shards, they knew something darker was at play. Reece's father, Alpha Darius, led the investigation. He was a fierce and noble leader, beloved by his pack. But the loss of his warriors weighed heavily on him, and he was determined to find the source of the attacks. Darius sought out an old ally, a warlock named Lysander, who had once fought alongside the wolves during the First Blood feud. Lysander was one of the few warlocks who had remained loyal to the truce, believing in the balance between magic and nature. When Darius explained the situation, Lysander's face turned pale. "This is Caelus's doing," Lysander said. "He has been gathering power in the shadows, building an army. The wolves are his first target, but he won't stop there." Darius's eyes burned with fury. "Why would he attack us now? The truce has held for generations." "Because he believes the wolves are the only ones strong enough to oppose him. If he can break you, no one else will stand in his way." Despite Lysander's warning, Darius refused to back down. He led a hunting party deep into the mountains, where the warlocks were said to be hiding. The pack followed their alpha with unwavering loyalty, their howls echoing through the night as they prepared for battle. But Caelus was ready. The Warlock King had been expecting the wolves. He had spent years perfecting his binding curse, and now he intended to use it on the most powerful wolf he could find, Darius himself. The battle was swift and brutal. The wolves fought valiantly, their claws and teeth tearing through the Warlock's defenses. But Caelus's magic was unlike anything they had faced before. He summoned storms of fire and shadow, illusions that disoriented the pack and turned them against one another. Darius fought his way through the chaos, determined to face Caelus himself. When he finally reached the Warlock King, he found him standing in the center of a ritual circle, the fragments of the Veilstone glowing with an eerie light. "You're a fool to come here, Wolf," Caelus said, his voice cold and confident. "You've walked into your own grave." Darius growled, his eyes flashing gold. "You've spilled the blood of my pack. You'll answer for it with your life." Caelus smirked. "Oh, I think not." With a wave of his hand, the binding curse activated. Chains of black energy wrapped around Darius, forcing him to shift back into his human form. He roared in pain, his strength draining away as the curse tightened its grip. The remaining wolves tried to reach their alpha, but the warlocks held them back. One by one they fell, their howls turning to silence. Caelus approached Darius, a cruel smile on his lips. "Your blood will be the key to my ascension. With your life force, I will forge a new Veilstone, and no wolf will ever stand against me again." But Caelus underestimated the bond between wolves. Even as Darius was bound, his packmates refused to abandon him. One wolf, a young warrior named Theron, broke through the warlock's defenses. He launched himself at Caelus, his fangs sinking into the warlock's shoulder. The distraction was enough. Darius summoned the last of his strength, breaking free of the binding curse. He lunged at Caelus, his claws slashing through the warlock's chest. The ritual was interrupted, the fragments of the Veilstone shattering into dust. The wolves retreated, carrying their wounded alpha back to safety. Though the pack survived, the battle left deep scars. Darius never fully recovered from the binding curse, and the pack was weakened by their losses. Caelus, too, was changed. The wounds he suffered at Darius's hands left him disfigured, and his ambitions were set back by decades. But his hatred for the wolves only grew stronger, fueling his desire for revenge. Now, in the present, Reece is still searching for his mate, unaware that Trinity is trapped, lost in visions of the past. How is she connected to this war? Why is her bond with Reece failing? Is she Wolf, Warlock, or something else entirely? And will Reece find her before it's too late?
Hey, I am Trinity. Want to know what happens next? Then click the link in the description below and download the Pocket FM app and listen to the exciting episodes of Chosen by Fate, Rejected by the Alpha.